ألا من كنت مولاه فهذا علي مولاه، اللهم وال من والاه وعاد من عاداه.
My name is Hanan Shurli. I'm originally from Morocco. Was born in Morocco in a small city called Qanitra. One of 5 children to my mom and dad. I lived in Morocco for 16 years. Then I got married and I came to England. Well, like I said, I'm the second eldest. I've got one brother, he's older than me, then 3 sisters. My childhood was a simple, I would say, childhood. My first memory of my childhood is being in the countryside. The house that we have in the countryside every weekend when we have school holidays was Sunday mainly. And that was the best childhood I have in Morocco. And also playing outside without no fear, being a child, being free, knowing that neighbours, the whole community is like one family. That was my happiest childhood, really. And my best memory is being with my siblings, being at home, being able to be a child. As seeing children today is different, and that's why I feel sometimes sad because today's children are not the same as how I've been brought up. I've been brought up playing with, small stones, making your own doll, create a game out of nothing really, and make something out of nothing, and we were happy. I was brought up, I wouldn't say very strict, however, my mum and dad, they were strict in a way. There were certain things we were not allowed to do. And that is, if I give you an example, we could have friends could come over, but we were not allowed, as girls, I'm not talking about my brother, girls, not allowed to go over and stay at their house or sleep over, things like that. We were brought up to study. We were brought up to learn. Yes, I've been brought up to know, Ramadan was the best time. Ramadan was, remembering it exactly like nowadays, long day. It was in the summer, we used to have Ramadan. And about studying or reading Quran or learning, about religion or about Islam, that was my dad's used to do that with us. Mom used to show us how to pray. Dad used to taught us Quran and how to memorize Quran. And the routine we used to have, it was quite. He'll wake up on the Fajr prayer, and then we'll wake up. So we do the prayer, and then we have to read Quran. That was our routine when we were young. However, saying that, my dad was a very busy man. He was a professor at university, and he used to travel quite a lot. So it was down to my mum. And my mum as well, being a very strict woman, or maybe she didn't know much about Islam to teach us. She only taught us like the simple things. But the rest, I would say, that we've learned at school, when it comes to religion, when it comes to whatever I knew about Islam, it came from school. And school itself, my memory of it then and what I know now, didn't tell us nothing really. we only learn basic. When I say basic, is Arkan al-Islam, Rak'at, kam Rak'ah, Salah, things like that, but not a great deal when it comes to details of specific things. And that is to the age of 16. That's when I left Morocco, at that age. Like I mentioned earlier, I was born in Medina, in a city called Qunaitara. Lived there for 6 years. My memory of that city is not that great. However, from the age of 6 years, we moved to another city called Qasr al-Kbir. It's like a big palace. That's and it was a very small city. It was when I say home, I'm going home, it feels like home, because everybody at that time, you feel neighbors, you feel at school, you feel everywhere, that it's like a small community, but it's all connected. They were all caring for one another. They were all, you wouldn't find what you find in the big cities, like dressing, even the language. When you go to the big cities, they don't even speak Arabic. They speak French most of the time. And you do find yourself, or am I in the Arab country, or am I in France, for example? But in Qasr al-Kbir, it wasn't like that. It was a proper, my memory of it was a proper Arabic, Moroccan, traditional city. It's like any other city that you think, because being small, you could go to the market, it's only up the road, really. You don't have to travel miles. And everybody knew everyone else. You could be outside and they know you're the daughter of so-and-so. Another person, he's the son of so-and-so, or that person. So that's how it was, really, Qasr al-Kbir. That was then. However, now it's changed. It's completely changed. And last time I've been there, which was last summer, I did feel a foreigner in my own city, in my own country. I felt strange, because the memory I have of it, it's completely now different. The children, the behavior of, I would say, the teenagers, the behavior, the culture changed in adults, and the way they bring their children. It's all about fashion. It's all about the latest song. It's all about the latest mobile. It's all about the plasma TV we have to have. It's all about material things. As before, no, I don't remember, Qasr al-Kbir was like that. It was, we were one of the houses in our community that had a phone line, a landline. And the whole of the community if they've got their families abroad, the number was given to them, and then they would call, and that's my memory of it. But now things like that don't happen. The caring for one another, it's no longer exists. It doesn't exist. As I was being brought up, that was then. I could come from school, my mum's not at home, I'll go to next door neighbor. She would give me a sandwich, she would do something, look after me, and until my mum comes back, or vice versa. Her daughter or her children will come, and my mum will end up looking after them. That doesn't exist anymore. Everybody's scared of what might happen to your kids if they go and play outside, because it's the kidnaps of children. It's become something normal. It happens, you hear it every day. The bad things, the drugs as well. You hear so many this young generation, they're addicted to drugs, they're addicted to certain, to some stuff, drug misuse, or it could be alcohol misuse, and it gets you to question why. Where did that come from? It was never like that. But that's the changes. That's my memory of it then, and what I see now. It's a big contradiction. of how it was, how it is now. How I come about to come to England, I got married. My husband came, asked for my hand, and then families dealt with that. They talked to one another, and then I got married to him, and that was in 1988, and that's when I came to England. I was 16 at the time when I came here. And it was a shock. At 16 years old, I used to read about the city of fog, Medinat al-Dabab, a story I've read about it when I was 13, and then you have a memory of London in England, and then you come to the city, and it was, to me, it was a big shock. I think it's the change of how you perceive things in your memory, and how you hold things in your memory, and then you see it for real, and you see the people, you see the culture, you see even the upbringing with what I saw in here. It was quite a big shock, but I came here in 1988, and that's where I've started my journey here in England, in London. It was in New Barnet, that's where I moved first. And if I'm honest with myself, to start with, I did not like it. It took me quite a few years to adapt to how culturally people are here. I felt like there's no الحياة. There isn't people with children, or the upbringing of the children, or the upbringing of the generation. You see it's wrong. You see there's something's wrong. Even meeting the Moroccan families here, it was completely different than how I knew Moroccans, because I've just left Morocco and I came here. I didn't like it to start with, but being married, and you have to work at that, and that's how I come to get to England. Well, when I first came to England, I didn't speak one word of English at all. I only had Arabic and French. That's what I've studied in Morocco. So that's mean I had to learn the language, English language. At that time, my partner, he would not let me go to college or study or just learn English. He wouldn't. So I become a wife, a house, Then I fell pregnant with my first son. I had my son. Then life goes on. Then I had more children. Then they started to get to the school age, nursery age. By that time, I've started to understand English. I've learned, I understand if someone speaks to me, I could reply. And I'm the sort of person, I like reading. So I used to read anything. It could be a newspaper, it could be a magazine, it could be anything. A sweet wrapper, I would read what's inside it, even if I didn't understand. And I used to have a dictionary as well to translate things that I didn't understand. That's how I've learned English. I taught myself. And my partner at the time, his Arabic wasn't good. So he spoke Arabic, but it was a broken Arabic, as I call it. So from him as well, I've learned a lot, but just how to speak it. Didn't know how to, I could write it, but I wouldn't be able to make a sentence. Then my son started nursery. He was 3 years old. He started nursery because I had twins after him. he started earlier than normal in those days. Then he started to bring these small books, A for apple, B for ball, D for dog. So that's how I become to study English with my children. So I've started to, as they grow older, I was helping them with their homework, I was helping them, teaching them, and teaching myself. Then I had my fourth child, and then things, I never studied, never went to college, never been to school, never, but I've learnt with my kids. As I taught them English, I taught myself English, and go to the library as well, find a way of understanding certain subjects, or because doing homework with children, it was quite hard for me, because English is not my first language and I'm still learning with them. But I did not let that beat me. So if I don't understand something, I would go to the teacher and I'll say, well, we need help with this, for this homework to be done. After that, the kids start, the normal school age, going from year 1, year 2, year 3. I started working at day school, which was in Colindale in London, as helping a classroom assistant. It was just a few hours, it was voluntary, just a few hours whenever I have spare time, I'll go and volunteer. That got me to know more about, or it gave me an access to more of what I wanted to learn. So I had then my spoken English got better, my written English, it started to get better, but I worked hard at it. So that was the start of how I learned English. Then the marriage broke up in 2001. At that time, the kids were still young. They were 11, the twins were 9, and the little one, she was 4. And I had to move from London and go to women refuge in Watford. And that is due to domestic violence that I've experienced with their father. Lots of problems, lots of up and downs. I tried to hold on to the family, not to separate the family. I've tried to take everything that if it's happened to me, even though it was wrong, but you cope. You find somehow you're coping for the sake of your kids, so you don't separate the family. And I did my best not to separate the family. But when it got to the point that my life was in danger, if I stay with this person, I left. And I ended up in a women's refuge in Watford. Then another cycle began for me, totally different. As much as I knew certain things, but I didn't know about the law of the country. I didn't know what help existed at that time. I was scared, having no family here. My partner at the time, his family, everybody was busy with their own lives and following whatever they were supposed to be doing. I felt trapped, but at the same time I was free from where I was. Because one thing I didn't want was my partner at the time, his idea of bringing the kids up was totally different than mine. When a partner forbids you to speak Arabic at home, I was forbidden to speak Arabic, or I started teaching them Arabic as well, how to read it and write it. It wasn't allowed. It became really hard, and it's almost I was in war between what I want and what I'm facing, or how am I going to go forward with this to make a positive outcome, really. Yeah, that was when I went to Watford. That was a new beginning. I've seen it as a new beginning for me. It was very hard. It wasn't easy. With 4 kids, a single parent, and not knowing the system, not knowing about help. However, I did find good people at the Women Refuge, and which helped me, directed me in different ways how to get about and how to get help. I stayed in that Women Refuge for about 3.5 months. Then I was given a temporary accommodation with my kids, and I was still in Watford. Then, because of the problems I had with my partner, he started, my name was on the property that he had, and because of that caused a lot of problems for me to get anywhere, to get a property. That lasted for quite a while, from 2001 till 2005. Then an opportunity came for a job, and I've applied for that job, and then I got the job as a family support worker for this company that works with children. So what they do is any involvement with kids, they're there. So that could be assessment, it could be supervised contact, it could be viability assessment, it could be helping a child being arrested and you go and be the adult for that child. It could be delivering a child from A to B, from one. So I've started that job, which means I had to move from Watford because the company is based in Dunstable. So I've moved to Dunstable, and that's where my career started. I started as a family support worker, doing everything that, like I said, involved kids, doing spot checks as well, do respite for autistic children, help autistic families to understand their children. And at the same time as I was doing this, I've taken NVQ in childcare. I've taken a diploma as well in childcare. I did a lot of in-house training and courses as well, which is safeguarding, health and safety, managing contact, first aid, the things that you need to be able to deliver, really. And from 2005 to now, I feel like it was very hard with 4 kids, and you have to still be the parents to those kids, and at the same time you have to work and to be able to bring the kids up. And not having a family, I would say that was the hardest for me, because you do feel alone. You feel like, apart from Allah that was with me, I didn't have no one. And everything that you want is, you have to work hard for. Like I said, and at the same time I was still going backwards and forwards to court with the partner. he wouldn't leave me alone. He made our lives really, really hard. And at the same time, I felt my family didn't understand as well. When I say my family, is my parents. They didn't understand why didn't I just leave the kids with him and go back to Morocco. That was a struggle for me, and that caused me a lot of emotionally a lot of problems, because how can I just leave 4 kids that I brought to this world, and it's my responsibility, and leave them with someone, in my eyes, he needed help. I'm not going to say more than that. It's someone that really, truly needed help. And I leave my kids with him. That to me was a big risk to do. So that meant I have to rely on me or Rabbil Alameen. Bes, and that's it. And this is the saddest part. When working in the field I'm working at, I see lots of families. I see lots of families from the same religion as me, Muslims. And the idea of just separate from the father, use any excuse just to leave the father of their kids so they can be free, so they can go and live their lives as they call it, their life. That's mean going out whenever they want, doing whatever they want. It hurts, because for me, I didn't want that. I wanted my family to be a proper family. I wanted a family of mom, dad, children. I've worked really hard to not to make that separate or to disconnect, but in the end I had to make that decision for the sake of my children, because if we stayed, I would have done more harm to them than if I left, really. It's not an ideal. I wouldn't wish it to any woman to go through what I've been through. So, like I said, it was hard. But then again, we had good days, happy days. We had sad days, and days that we didn't have nothing. Days when you know, as long as I managed to get food for the children, when they finished, then I ate what left. It's hard to imagine that happening nowadays in this country, but it does. It does. When you start from zero, you start from nothing. You don't have nobody. You're waiting for, you know, I guess a miracle to happen. But miracles does not happen just like that. You have to work hard at it. But I never gave up. I didn't give up, and I'm not the person that would give up easily. I'll fight for what's mine, and I'll fight to the end for what's true, and I'll fight for what's correct. I'll fight for what's, you know, belongs to me. And being in the job I am at as well, it helped me to go through my circumstances, because I used to see families and I used to say, Alhamdulillah, I am a Muslim. Alhamdulillah, I was born a Muslim. Because some families, when you see the way they are, the society, their society, I would say, they completely disconnected from God, from any belief really, because they are so busy in whatever they are busy. They've forgotten about the morals. They've forgotten about the responsibilities. They've forgotten about what comes first. because having kids, it's not anyone can have children, but it takes a real person to be a parent to that child. It takes a strong person to make sure to deliver that child to the age that when they can make decisions for themselves. So I feel like, yeah, my work did help me through the difficult times that I was going through. But when I see other families, I appreciate what I had. I appreciate what Allah gave me. I appreciate the help that I got from Allah. I appreciated the doors that's been opened from nowhere. Sometimes things happened, and it is shocking because you think, I didn't expect this. But alhamdulillah, things did happen to me, as much as it was hard, but it was easy as well because of the belief and the strength I got from Allah. He kept me going, and inshallah He will keep me going. Growing up from 0 to 16 in Morocco, never ever heard of Shia. In my lifetime when I was in Morocco, didn't even know something existed called Shia. When I came to this country, again, I didn't hear about them when I was with my partner at the time, because they only knew Moroccans. They only, they were sticking to the community, Moroccan community, really. However, when I've separated and I've started my journey, the new chapter I would call it, you start meeting up people, and I've met a few people. They were Lebanese, and they told me they're Shia, because that was the question that I was asked. What are you? Are you a Sunni or Shia? I was puzzled, to be honest with you, because to me, and I said, I'm a Muslim. It didn't mean anything to me, Sunni or Shia. I didn't understand it. Then I've asked a few questions. Well, what does it mean, Shia? But the explanation that I was given, or the answers that I was given, it wasn't satisfying then. And I'm talking, this is about maybe 10 years ago. 8, 9, maybe 10 years ago. But I never questioned it really to the point that I wanted to understand it. And that is due to the load I was dealing with myself. I did not have time to even, sit down and make my own decisions or make a research to find out what's the difference between the two. And through my work as well, I've worked with in one particular community, and they were like, the first question they will ask you, what are you? Are you Sunni or Shia? Then that started to raise a question in my head. So clearly is there a conflict between the two? Is there something wrong with one or something wrong with the other, or the two don't get along? And I didn't understand it, to be honest with you. Then through work, again, I've met someone, and that particular person answered all my questions, because then I went in depth, because I had time. My kids were older. I could find out for myself. And what was shocking is the books are out there. The technology nowadays, it's available in every house, I would say, and even on the phones you'll have internet if you want an answer. But when you are brought up in a particular way, understanding particular things, it's almost like not forbidden, but you're not allowed to ask certain questions, I guess. And I'll give you one example, is Muharram, it's a big celebration. And it's when families give gifts to the children, there's music playing, there's cakes making, streets decorated with lights and decorated with, with this lovely, stuff that, and it's a big, huge celebration. Last year, I got to know what was Ashura is about. And it hurts. It really does hurt so much, because for years my understanding was this, like we celebrate Ashura, but there's no explanation why do we celebrate Ashura, what was the reason behind it that we celebrate Ashura, why all these festivals, they're making it into a big festival of Ashura, but there's at school, my memory does not, I don't have any memory of any explanation, but it's Ashura, and that's what we do in Ashura. That's it. But last year, I came to London, and I got to hear for myself. There was أيام محرم وأيام عاشوراء, the meaning of it, of Ashura, and what was behind it, and what happened, and the sacrifice, the people who sacrificed their life, their families. It was a shock to me, to be honest with you. It was a big shock, and to the point you start to doubt everything that I've been taught in the years, because if all of this, it's in the books, it's in a hadith, when you do research about any question that I had, you'll find it. We've got it. I mean, even in Morocco, I could have found that out, but it was something you don't talk about because it's not mentioned. So if it's not mentioned, you don't know it. What you don't know, you're not gonna question. And for the first time, I would say, in my life, I felt peace when I got to know about Ahlul Bayt, when I got to know about the stories. I felt peace in a way that I found out the truth, and I didn't go by just hearing from people. No, I had evidence as well. Any question that I had in my head regarding anything that I didn't understand, I was given an explanation, and I was given evidence in paper from a hadith, from Aqwal al-Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. So that, as much as I wanted to know, I got to know. But still, I'm sad about how I've been brought up, not knowing, how still people out there not knowing the real truth about our religion, really. It's been a year and a half now, but Ashura just made it, it's almost answered all my questions that I had. Because how can we celebrate something that is really the heart, that was the heart of pain, I would say, but we were celebrating it. I got to know how things happened to those people, Ahlul Bayt, and how much they suffered, how much they went on days with no food, no water. But yet again, the other side, they were celebrating in those days that when they should be, this should be sad, really, because it is painful. It's really painful. To start with, because I had the questions and I didn't have the answers, the proper answers, but the people I had, you know, they were answering my questions because they had the knowledge, they had, you know, the knowledge of Islam, the knowledge of al-ilm, al-fiqh, and step by step I felt myself I'm getting closer to be withdrawn to this side than to what I was. And that came just before Ashura, but after Ashura I felt peace. I felt, no, this is the right path for me. This is 100% a right path for me. Me moaning about my life, me saying I had a hard life, me saying that, oh, whatever I've been through, that was hard. No, that was not hard. What the Ahlul Bayt's been through and what they suffered and the tragedy that they've been through, that was hard. It made me appreciate what I had and what I've been through, because it wasn't as a drop, you know, to what they've been through. Yes, it was hard, hard to come out from one path to, and from one side to the path, to the right path, because of the questions, you know, I had. However, a lot of the questions, it was the answers, it's all common sense, really. You read, and if you read, the answers are there. But how come I didn't do my own research before someone else telling me what? You get really, I got really disturbed with and upset with me because I didn't get to find out at that time when I was with those friends that maybe the lack of their knowledge, they couldn't answer certain, you know, questions that I had for them at the time, and I felt like I've wasted those years when I could have knew then, but I didn't. I feel it opened my eyes to a lot of things. It opened my eyes to the hidden knowledge that it's not shared with thousands of Muslims out there. It opened my eyes to, if you want to find out, you can find out, but it's up to individual. And we are, as a nation, I would say, we follow easily. You could easily follow anything. But when you're being brought up in such a way that you go to school, you hear the same thing. At home, you hear the same thing. On TV, you hear the same thing. It's really hard to go and find out about something that you don't know. So therefore, for me, I feel like I found the right path, and alhamdulillah that I did. And I'm very grateful to the people who helped me to get to where I am now. And even with me, I was determined to find out if there's a question mark on something. I want to know, and I will not give up. And I made my own decisions. No one had any influence of making me make the decision. I made my own decision, and I'm so pleased that I made this decision to the right path. What changed in my life and in me, I start to see things in a different way. I don't just believe something if I heard it, do my research, then I believe it. If someone comes and tell me, which is nowadays, there's a lot of, you see videos, you see, you know, the scholars, they, you know, from all different parts of the world, and each one of them come up with a different fatwa to the other one, and that was confusing as well. However, what changed for me, if you really want to know, the answers are there, but you need to work hard to get the answers. Regarding my kids, my youngest one, she's 18. Alhamdulillah, she's in the same path as me. But the older ones, I don't want to force them. Because same as me, they have questions that they want to find out. So we've been brought up all these years, you've been telling us, you know, certain things should be a certain way, and now certain things, it's different. I mean, it's not a huge difference, but there's one thing, I never celebrated Ashura in this country, by the way. Never, since I came here to England, never. And also in Morocco, which is, it got me to doubt maybe my father is the same. He's a Shia, you know, from Ahl al-Bayt, but he's not saying it to everyone, because at home we never celebrated Ashura. It was outside. He never bought toys for us, and like other parents, but we never understood why. My dad, as a youngster, you think, oh, you know, he's just a stingy father, he doesn't want, you know. But through my discussion with my father last summer when I went to Morocco, and I've told him, in my heart I feel like he is as well, but he's just not telling everybody. It's not something he's broadcasting to everyone, because certain questions that he asked me, I never heard from him before. And his wide knowledge of it as well, it really got me to understand maybe he is, but I didn't have that courage to ask. But it was, he never questioned why did I do it. He was pleased, he was happy. And I think I feel at peace with me, my religion, with the things that I'm doing now. I feel like, the only way I can describe it, I see the light. I've seen it and I'm following it, and that's the right path. That's the light that I should be following. Alhamdulillah, I strongly feel I haven't done anything to upset Rabb al-Alameen or anything that is bad, but we're full of mistakes, and if I do make a mistake, I try to correct myself by not to repeat the same mistake. So I feel at peace.